Assalamu alaikum. My name is Chillmonger. I go by that name here on YouTube, and I have three topics. Mitsu, I gotta talk to you guys about Okoye. So let me open up the Denai Guerrera news article coming from Deadline. It says that we hear from sources that Denai Guerrera will be returning as Okoye, General of the Dora Milaje, in Ryan Coogler's upcoming Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, as well as reprising the character in an origin spin-off series for Disney Plus. Doesn't mean it's Okoye's origin story. It means that it's the origin of a spin-off, like the first episode for a season type thing. Disney didn't have any comment about today's report, which means absolutely nothing, which means that they could have asked, which means that they maybe didn't even ask. They don't say we asked and Disney commented. They're being hush hush about it. This is Deadline. Deadline has a reputation. And then they go and they say it would not come as a shock if Guerrero also stars in the Wakanda series. Like, now you're just extending the article, so I'll leave the article alone over there. Okoye is getting a brand new a series, or she'll be part of a series. All right, I'm interested in that. I do care really about what's happening in Wakanda. So seeing that Denai Guerrero signed up, cool. Her schedules just got freed up because Walking Dead is going to be over by then, and it's good to have that steady paycheck with an awesome character. That's probably one of the proudest moments of her life to be casted as that. She also played Afina Shakur and Michonne, which are two top tier kind of things to lay your hat and to rest on. That's a saying. But Michonne, Denai Guerrera is doing big things, becoming that. The second topic on this video would be what J.J. Abrams said about having a plan. And obviously, it's important to plan things out, and you shouldn't do a trilogy and have different people all over. There are interviews in the past of JJ saying, "Well, I'm going to be executive producing 7 and 8. And I'm going to stay on." It meant nothing apparently. I've seen interviews, especially after The Last Jedi. There was one interview where all of the actors were at a cinema. They're at the top of the where the movie plays, right there. Movie just played for everyone. It's an interview session. And Ryan Johnson says, "Well, I was allowed to do anything I wanted to do. Kathy was great for not putting any restrictions on me." I heard that in 2017 when Last Jedi came out. And I'm not surprised that there was no planning going into it. I got my confirmation there. It reconfirmed with Daisy Ridley's interview explaining her father was supposed to be a Kenobi, then it was supposed to be nobody, and then it was supposed to be Palpatine. And when I say nobody or when I say an unknown, I just mean to say that the last name of this character is not someone of significance in Star Wars. Obviously, it's not a nobody. Her last name could have been Jeff. My name Jeff. That's what her last name could have been. But when I say nobody, that's what I'm trying to say. I've seen Boyega talk about it and lash out. I've seen Palpatine's actor Ian McDiarmid come out and say, "Well, they called me last summer, to see if I could return as the role." But I've also heard Kathleen Kennedy say, "Palpatine was always in the plans." She says this after the trailer. Well, both of those things can't be true. You can't say that Palpatine is in the plans if the actor didn't even know about it. You wouldn't plan of a trilogy, and it's year 2015, and you know the story is going to have Palpatine in a film in 2019, and you call Palpatine in the summer of 2017. You wouldn't plan that. Plan. So it's very obvious to everyone who was a fan of the sequel trilogy. A lot of the arguments I would have in real life, not internet arguments, but in real life, talking to someone about, "You really like this?" "Nah, you don't understand. There's a plan here. And I wish I could go to every single schmuck I spoke to about this Star Wars stuff and have a real one-to-one and just say, "So, it was a plan, huh?" and just see if they change their mind or change their tune. If I was a fan and I remember, the talks I had with Chillmonger about, "No, it's all planned," and then I see this and I get confirmation that stuff wasn't really planned out, how would I feel about that? Would I turn coat? Would I turn on Lucasfilm? Would I be more angry? Like, "Yo, I've been made out to be a fool because now Chillmonger's on his channel talking and he's telling the truth because shit wasn't really planned, according to J.J. Abrams. I had faith in J.J. and Kennedy and Lucasfilm, and all of that is gone. Like, I wonder how those people really feel, knowing that, or are they denying it, but knowing that this is over. The sham that the whole Star Wars sequel trilogy was planned, it's over. Right? And when I say it wasn't planned, I really mean every little thing wasn't planned. Everything was like 0% was in stone from 1, 2, 3, from episode 7, episode 8, episode 9. All of it. That gets put to bed. Next, the Spider-Verse. It's not a word. It's used sometimes when we talk about the Spider-Man films. So what it means to me when I hear the word Spider-Verse is this writer, Dan Slott, in year 2008, wrote a story in a comic book called Into the Spider-Verse, where different versions of Peter Parker joined to fight a threat. So when I hear Spider-Verse, I just think about, okay, 20 different universes, Peter Parker or Spider-Man from each one of them unite. That's what I think of. But other people use the Spider-Verse differently. Like when they say something like Sony Pictures, they own a Spider-Verse, meaning a universe of Spider-Man characters. And then there's so many other ways to look at it. Like Spider-Verse, you could be referring to the animated film when you say Spider-Verse. It's not a word. We have to refrain from using it. Let's be more smart and cognizant. Let's say universe where Spider-Man is home. Like Tom Holland, right? His Spider-Verse is the MCU. His universe is Earth 199999. It's 5 nines. That's Spider-Man's universe. The Spider-Verse, if we're using the word in that sense, is the MCU. It's the same thing, the same place. Now, in this new film, we have no idea what's going to happen. I did hear that the Sony, like, super producer dude, Avi Arada might be his name. That might be the guy. But he was explaining, like, yo, it is confusing. We get it. By the time the film comes out, it'll be squashed. Awesome. I love hearing that. Same thing with Eternals. It looks like they're going to address where they were, why we had to stay silent, like they said in the trailer. Cool. I'm satisfied. You told me that much. I'll wait and see in the movie, and I'll give it a chance. So I'm happy they're addressing stuff. Similar to, what's the other thing I just had on top of my head that needed to be addressed? Loki. Loki is going to address the traveling that they've been doing from the quantum realm in the Avengers Endgame film. I'm interested to see what's going on there. Wa alaikum salam. It's Eid Mubarak, he says. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I tell you what I did, but I don't talk about my personal life here on YouTube. But yeah, it was nice. I love drinking during the daytime. It's so fun. Spider-Man and Spider-Man's universe. Yeah, that's just a little mini rant that I have on the word Spider-Verse. It's silly. The way that we use the word Spider-Verse to mean whatever we want it to mean, it's crazy. Actually, Sony Pictures, the SPUMC, Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel Characters, they said, we actually don't even own a Spider-Verse. They said that in the Variety article. Now what? Of course you do. The comic book rights of Dan Slott's story belong to you if you want to use it in a film. What are you talking about? They're referring to it as, we don't own a Spider-Verse, we own a Marvel universe. Like, Morbius has got his own thing, Venom's got his own thing going. You're not even going to miss Spider-Man. You're not going to regret that there's no Spider-Man or Peter Parker showing up in our movie. I think that's the right thing to say. It also exposes how such a loophole that they got these 900 characters from Marvel back in the day. Like, the reason why they have the film rights to, let's say, Kingpin or Punisher or whoever they have the rights to, Morbius, Venom, is because they debuted in a Spider-Man comic. So they really are stretching the limits by saying something like that we don't own a Spider-Verse, we own a universe of Marvel characters. But all right, I understand what you mean there when you use the word Spider-Verse. I respect to Sony. But and respect for being honest and telling us that Peter Parker's not going to be in Venom 2. I wasn't watching it regardless, but hey, the the tease that he would be in the first Venom movie got me to the theaters. I'm good. I'm not going to see Spider-Man again, Venom again, because it's not canon. And then when the movie fails, and when Morbius fails, then Venom, Sony, they're gonna go, oh, we make a lot of money when Spider-Man is part of the Marvel universe. It looks like they know what universes are now. Okay, here, Feige, film rights. There you go. You do anything you want with them. Make a Venom film, and they could do that. Venom's one of those characters in comics who stands alone. He's evolved from the Spider-Man role, being the second of Spider-Man, being a spin-off version. So what Venom is doing there with Spider-Man, what Sony's doing with Venom, it could be done because it's happening in comic book world, and a lot of credit goes to Donny Cates, who's writing the Venom series right now. And then shoot, give him a cameo. Do what you did with Ed Brubaker. Brubaker came out. This is old news. Brubaker came out on Kevin Smith's podcast and said something like, "I get more money from the cameo than I do for like royalty stuff with Marvel Comics." The cameos are the way to get these guys paid. Let's do it. Who's mad at that? Who was mad when Kelly Sue DeConnick showed up in a Captain Marvel film? She didn't have a speaking role, so she might not get royalty checks, but it helps, man. Respect and honor these creators. I better see Chris Claremont show up in the new X-Men film. Give them the credit they deserve. Chris Claremont could be the new Stanley. Anyways, I got everything I needed to get off of my chest. I'm Chillmonger. Subscribe to the channel. Deuces.